no, this is what I figured out. It's not like I'll figure this out again. It's like he knows it. You can tell. He runs right back over there, does the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking about, I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? I can't have him just running loose in my house. He definitely has a thing to chew plastic cords. Like he chewed the plastic that's around the wire that holds his drinking bottle up. Even then he found a rubber band, started chewing on it. Like, you know, he's going to, and I've got cords like everywhere. He's going to chew that shit up at the very least.
My rat used to do that.
Yeah, so I just...
Oh, there's another reason
I
got that name. Huh?
Yeah.
So anyway,
right on your shoulder?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, he's getting agile. I'm like, I'm just going to go take him in the trail area there and, you know, see what happens, you know? And
so did you walk away and he followed after you?
Basically, I let him up in there's like that tree that's fallen over. I let him up in there. He's running all around, going up high, coming back to me. And so I sit there a bit, then I leave for probably like 10, 15 minutes or more. Come back, he's still basically right there. Of course, he still like runs onto me, runs back to the tree, that kind of stuff. And then, you know, I leave again for a bit, came back, then I went back, took a shower, and like got ready to go. So it was like a good half hour or more. I go back and I couldn't quite find him. But then I like looked around and found him, and I hang out there for a second just to see. He looked pretty good. Like I could just leave him. He was up in the tree a bit. He was actually even circling around the tree away from me to kind of hide, which I was like, oh good, you know. But then, whatever, not too long, he fucking starts coming back down the tree, and it's like a whole little thing he's got to do, you know. This branch to that branch to this branch, comes back to me, and jumps on me, and he's getting more and agile the whole time he's running around doing this. I'm realizing he's like full on squirrel. Like he's like, I would put my hand up at first to the tree trunk to let him run down my hand to me, and then he got to the point where he didn't need, like he would just jump straight, like, you know, a good like this far right to my back, and then he'd jump off my back again back to the tree. So then I'm kind of like, I leave him sitting in this on the tree, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna leave him here again and leave. And so I leave, and he he does this little branch to branch to branch thing to get down on the ground, follows me, runs up my leg, and I start walking. He runs off my leg and onto the ground again, but keeps following me. I'm like crossing over the bridge thing to get back to my house, and like halfway on the bridge he runs down, and I'm like, oh shit, because he's gonna drop in the stream. But he runs onto like a branch, and then he follows me across the bridge, runs back up onto me again, like basically will like completely follow me across the thing. So I'm just like, well, alright, I gotta put him back inside. And I put him back inside. He went up to his food thing, and then I went back a couple minutes ago to check on him, and he's asleep now. They sleep, they're really active in the morning and in the evening, and they'll sleep all day and all night, and he's basically done that. And so when I went back over there, and he was sleeping in his little spot, so he's not down out of the thing, I'm like, alright, well, I can handle it for now. You know, the whole time I've been playing this thing just a step at a time, you know, because I really just, I have too much empathy to have a caged animal. It's torturous to me to see an animal that doesn't want to be in a cage. Like I could have a snake or something that didn't fucking care, you know, but it's like, if you have some animal that's running around basically trying to get out of the cage, then to me it's just like that's...
This squirrel here that lives in the building has 2 babies that are about his age.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I saw them.
You know what?
On the bottom of the stairs. You should adopt them in. Like, throw them at the pile of little baby squirrels.
It's probably not adopting. That's probably his brothers and sisters.
You think?
Franklin found them right over there. So, yeah, probably. Yeah. She's got 2 that are about his size, and he's probably the 3rd. And what I was thinking is, because it's common for him to fall out, and he's a little, like, aggressive. Like, actually, he jumped, like, in this whole run around the trees and shit, he jumped on Franklin's back intentionally, and then jumped to another thing. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I was thinking he's probably the more adventurous. It's like this weird thing of evolution, I think, where it's like, you know, yeah, exactly. He's the more adventurous one, which means he's probably also the more like aggressive and, you know, which be bad in a way. He's the alpha kid. But it's a weird way how evolution keeps that in check, because he might not have survived because of that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like a weird, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna. I mean, I basically have to build them like.
God, the tank farmers live interesting lives.
I have to build them some ridiculously big cage now. You know, like that's the only way I can really. Either that, or I got to decide that I'm just gonna give them back to like the rehabilitators. I think. I mean, I don't know. I thought I could put him out there and just hopefully he does all right. You know.
Sell it for medical experiments.
There's a
Let's do our own medical experiments.
There's a plethora of people that are like, if you're not gonna keep that squirrel, I want it. In fact, I had that girl in the bar basically almost berate me. He will not survive if you let him out in the wild, and if you don't have 15 years to devote to him, you should give him to me.
I love
I'm a
preaching
zoology
drunk
major.
chicks.
I've raised squirrels. I raised a tiger. This girl was probably like 21 is telling me that
She
shit.
raised the tiger.
And it's like she's full of shit. Like the thing can completely be fine if you release it in the right way. You know, if you domesticate it and release it, it's probably gonna die. But you know, if you like,
It's gonna run and jump on people all the time now.
he's still afraid of Franklin, so I still think there's a chance I could. It's just because he likes me and wants to come back to me. All his
You have food.
he's gotten used to me as like this provider, you know, and he's still even a little skittish of me. If I make a quick movement or something, he freaking darts to like hide or whatever it is, you know. Even when he was on the tree, he would fucking, like, I would move or something, he'd roll around to the back side of it where I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
But the thing is, so like just sitting there, like even if I keep him, I'm gonna do that again. Like, one, it's a cool feeling that I can let him go into the woods where he can
And he
run
keeps
and
running around.
and he'll run around and come back to me. And the other thing is just watching him do his thing is freaking so cool. Like, he jumped to the little teeny twig branch that was not enough to sustain his weight. Upon feeling it in midair with his foot, he must have realized that it wasn't going to hold his weight and did this like ninja fucking air hop thing where even though it wouldn't support his weight, he still like hopped off of it and split second decision went to a different branch that would support him, and that one was totally by accident. But then later on he did it again, and that time it wasn't by accident at all. It was you could see it in his movement. The first one was very impressive, but the second one was like you could see he purposefully fucking did that air, like he knew he could do it at that point. And since he's a little baby, you can totally see like he's learning and figuring that stuff out. Like, in the last couple days, his agility has gone like ridiculous. Like, when I just barely was letting him run around in that tree, he was like any other squirrel. He's making these big jumps, and when I first got him, you know, he wouldn't make those jumps. Like, I mean, now he'll jump off. Like, that was the thing in the end. He would jump. Like, I wasn't putting my hand out because I was like, all right, I'm trying to get you to fucking go in your tree and shit. And he was jumping straight, like, you know, from like here to here, right to me, and then he'd like run there and then run back and do the whole jump. Like, it wasn't even. It's kind of neat too because you don't even feel him. You barely feel him like land on you.
That's cool.
It's a pretty cool. And then just like when he started following me, that was just kind of. It's like one thing for him to run off the tree onto me, but for him to run down to the ground, come following after me, and then run up my leg, like it's very much like a don't let me, you know, don't leave me here. And I almost think it too. It was because I left him a few times, and so I almost think that like when I came back and he was like up in that tree in that one spot, I almost think there was part of him where he might have been a little bit. I could see him being afraid just because it's new and it's like, you know, it's like
out there with mom.
What's this all about? So then it's like I left and came back a few times. I think that last time was like, no, I'm not. I'm not just sitting here while you take off again. This sucks. But
That's cool.
yeah.
Interesting.
Critters. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what I fucking wrote myself into here now. I'm like a fucking squirrel guy.